Welcome to the Sponsored Rider Club podcast, your guide to motorsports sponsorship. Here's your host, Josh Wiese.
All right, welcome everybody to this episode of the Sponsored Rider Club podcast, which is powered by 4 Wheel Parts. We are live on Facebook and Instagram. We got a few folks joining right now. I just saw Jeff from TopThePodium.com. Welcome. Rick Schrader, hello. I'm pumped tonight. I'm going to be doing this live show, but it's going to be honestly pretty quick, and it's not going to be super complicated. It's not the same as some of the other shows that I have done in the past where I break down 100 tips and tricks and things like that. There's going to be one main thing we're going to focus on. But before I get into that, I'm going to go through some other stuff real quick, kind of like set the context for the conversation. What up, Jeff? So the last show I did live was episode 50. It was my 50th live show. Once it's released on audio, it was going to be like 222, I think. This one might be. But the last time I talked about the coronavirus, some of the impacts, and what you might do differently as a result. Because some people are quarantined, some people got a few extra hours of free time, and I talked about that. So go back to that last episode and check that out to talk a little bit about, tips on how you might handle your quarantine time. We also got Amanda Sorensen coming up on the next show here. So later this week, first week of April, that show's going to be released. So stay tuned for that. Mark Shea, Manhouse, and welcome. Another thing I wanted to share, I just checked the numbers before starting this live show, and after 3 years, 3.5 years now of doing this podcast, 220 some odd episodes, this month, March of 2020, ended up being the biggest download month we've ever had. So that's exciting. We still got another day left, so, I'm excited to see what else might come out of it. If we got a big day tomorrow, then that's fantastic. Maybe we'll blow my last record out of the water. But if you're listening right now and you want to help me set a bigger record, go over and download like every episode. That'd be just to start. Either way, though. All right, before I even get into like the main part of this topic here, I want to, like I said, set the stage. There is a lot happening in the world right now that has forced a number of things like big events, race series, race events, swap meets, auto shows, you name it. There's a lot of stuff that's been canceled lately because of the coronavirus, because of the social distancing requirements, the lockdowns that the various states have. And yeah, it's caused an impact on everybody guaranteed listening to the show right now. And especially if you're listening, you're most likely you are some sort of rider or racer, some person that's big into motorsports. So you're impacted. One of the things that we have seen happen as well with this shift is a number of different platforms are shifting to, video conferencing, WebExes, Zooms, Skypes, a lot more emphasis on the electronic communication, with social media, with social distancing really kicking in. And that has also caused the main topic of this conversation to see a surge. And that is eSports. Now, Jim Beaver has been on relatively recently, I think within the past 20 episodes, to talk about eSports and the rise that it has happened. Welcome, Steve. Welcome, Jeff. And I can't, like I said, it's within the last 20 episodes. I don't remember which episode it was exactly, but he talked about how he got into eSports. He's got his own race team and how it has really been taken off. That trend has only increased since this whole social distancing thing started really hitting hard. We're seeing more racers start considering making their own rigs or purchasing their own rigs. And when I say rig, that's kind of what the eSports race car drivers use. They have their own virtual setup with it's pretty complex, multiple screens and really good steering wheel shifting profiles, all sorts of complexities. I think they can be built, maybe it's for as cheap as like $3,000 and up to 25, 30 grand, probably more than that. But we're seeing racers contemplate that right now if their race series has been canceled or delayed. And Joe Sylvester, who's been on this show several times, and he also has been a sponsor of the show with High Octane Coffee. He recently hopped on a live event, eSports style event for monster trucks. He has gotten really big into monster trucks again, and yeah, he went ahead and got a rig set up and did an event, and it was really cool. I think we're going to see more and more of that, and I think this is that really brings me to the main question that I want to ask you. Like I said before at the beginning of the show, this is not going to be my normal tips and tricks and all that sort of stuff in this episode. This is going to be really a question. Hey, Sorensen Motorsports joined. Welcome. Just before I get to the main thing, I almost got there. I was like right at the end, but just a shout out here. So Brandon Sorensen was on the last audio version episode of this that was released. Amanda Sorensen is next, and then their little brother Cameron is going to be on after that. So we got a whole lineup of Sorensens. I've been calling it the Sorensen series because that's just how could you not call it that? But either way, the main point of this, and then I will let everybody get back to their evenings here, is this main question. Is it time for you? Is it time for you to get into esports? I want you to think about that. I want you to just consider the time, and especially if you are in a situation where your race series might be delayed by several months, or if you've seen multiple races canceled because of the social distancing coronavirus issue, just think about it. I know that it could be a major investment, a lot of stuff to learn. I wouldn't even know where to start exactly, but maybe I do know where to start. It's asking yourself that question. Is that something that's right for you? And I'd be curious. If you do make a call like that, let me know. You can always reach me, Josh at sponsoredriderclubpodcast.com for email, or Sponsored Rider Club Podcast on any of the social media platforms. But that's it. That's all I'm going to talk about today. That question, I want that to kind of linger in your mind. And I'm going to leave you with this. Have fun and ride safe.